I'm Ms. Moffa, or Madame Moffa, if you take me for French class, and I teach French and peer mediation here at the high school. And I was diagnosed with cancer, breast cancer, in April of 2016. At the time I was teaching at Maltby and Hawkins and Scranton. And 16 days after my chemo started, my hair fell out. And so that was during the school year. And so my students saw that and went through it with me. And it ended up being a really positive thing. I think it was a lot of support for me at the time for what I was going through. And it was actually deeply moving for me at the time that I could be going through this with kids, young kids, who had cancer in their own families. And so that was actually a really powerful thing. I remember one day in Spencer when I had a student who was pretty severely autistic. All of a sudden, after not talking at all, he said to me, "Can I touch your head?" And so I took my scarf off and I let him touch my head, and he said, "You look like my mom." And I was nearly moved to tears. So I think he'd never talked before. So I think that being able to share what I'm going through can be very powerful for a lot of people, even though sometimes it feels very vulnerable to share this part of my life. But in any ways, that's a kind of a quick detour. So I had breast cancer, and I went through chemo, and I went through surgery and reconstructive surgery, and it took a long time. And I was very surprised. No one wants to hear that they have cancer. And my husband is a cancer survivor, and my mother, in fact, died of cancer, and so it's a scary thing, and nobody wants to hear it. I feel very thankful that I live where I live because we have amazing medical care in this part of the country. And so I was always very grateful that I had amazing doctors, and I took it one step at a time. So, and I found that my feelings about my journey changed over time. And I went from tremendous fear to accept a lot of sadness. I went through a lot of sadness. When I first started getting my chemo, I remember thinking that I didn't want people to be pumping poison into my body. And by the time I was done, I ended up looking at it differently and looking at it as a lifeline, and that this was what was helping me live. So when I started having chemo, I remember feeling sad and confused, and then as I went and I would see the same people every week or when I went, and I would see the journeys that they were on, and some of them in just significantly challenging journeys, and I would feel thankfulness. I would feel thankfulness that I had access to the care and that I was able to take myself there, and I really learned gratefulness by having cancer. It's been 4 years, and I did learn recently when I went to the doctor that the term cancer-free is a term that is used with blood cancers. For the rest of us, we use a term survivorship. So I am in survivorship. I am surviving. And so I hope to do that for many years. But many of you here at this school have seen me go through this process. Some of you had me when I returned. So after I was diagnosed, then I switched. That was in April, and then I switched schools, and I came to the high school, and I also taught a class at Scranton. And so many of you had me at that time. So you were dealing with me when I was going through surgery, and you were watching as all of this was happening and being patient and gracious with me. And I often wondered, I had people say, "Why are you teaching when you're going through this?" But I found a lot of joy in being with you, and found a lot of support in the community. community here, and I think it actually made my healing accelerate, even though I had to be very careful about germs and being cautious because my immune system was compromised because of the chemo that I was in. But I'm always very thankful that I had a whole Brighton community supporting me. It made a huge difference in my life.
What does Pink Week mean to you?
Okay, so it's funny, that's an interesting question that I actually have a strong response for, because my husband's cancer was kidney cancer. And I will never forget the day that he came out of surgery and the surgeon came out to talk to me, and he had the #3 specialist in this field doing his surgery in the country, and we were so thankful. And the surgeon walked out and he said to me, "We know nothing about kidney cancer." And I just remember wanting to just stand there and just start crying. And he said, money and research goes to certain types of cancers, and kidney cancer isn't one of them that gets a lot of them, and it just takes time. It's hard. We're still learning so much. And at the time when I heard about Pink Week, I always thought it was just breast cancer, and I always felt angry, because there's all these other cancers out there, and they need research and they need support. And but then I got breast cancer, and I have to tell you that the type of cancer that I've been diagnosed with, and there are different types, all these cancers have different types within them. So there are different types of kidney cancer, different types of blood cancers, different types of breast cancers. And the breast cancer that I've been diagnosed with is one of the more aggressive types. And I'm here to tell you that the research and the money that goes into breast cancer saved my life, because I was just reading this the other day too. The drug that is used to make people with my type of cancer have hopes of having a longer life wasn't even made accessible to the public till 1998. So that means that if I had this diagnosis 25 years ago, I wouldn't be here to make this video for you, because it was highly aggressive. It's highly aggressive cancer. Or it was then, and it's just there now. We know how to treat it. So I am deeply thankful. And the other thing that I'm really thankful about is that Pink Week now doesn't just mean breast cancer. It's for all cancers. And so I'm really thankful that there is money that goes into research. It is truly saving lives. It's saving my life. It's saving many other lives. And also the money that you all donate, I'm sure, is helping families who don't have insurance. And that is one of the things that I've been very keenly aware of, is how thankful I am that I am someone who has health insurance. And I hope that everyone in our country will be able to have that, because a diagnosis like cancer without insurance is a really, really tough thing. Cancer's hard, period, but there's prayer, and there's support, and there's friends, and there's family, and there's exercise, and there's all the things that you do to take care of yourself. The last thing you want to have to be worrying about is can you pay the bills. So I've been very thankful. In fact, one of the things that I will say that I did that helped me the most with my diagnosis is I started a list called The Upside of Cancer. And I kept it right by my dressing area, and every day I would read it, I would add to it, and some things were quite whimsical and fun, like I decided I always wanted red shoes, and so I got red shoes. And so cancer sort of helped me seize the day, right? What are you waiting for? Get the red shoes. But cancer gave me a lot of gifts, and it gave me a deep sense of thankfulness for every day, and it really tuned me into health. And I think I always lived a pretty healthy life anyways, but it really helped me focus on what we put in our bodies matters, how we move our bodies matters. It made me laugh at certain things. It made me know that I was contributing to saving the natural resources, because showers go very fast when you have no hair to wash. And there's just all kinds of things. So we grow a lot in all kinds of situations, and cancer did help me grow.